Okay, hi. Hello. Welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. This week I will be reading a shit ton of books. So I'm not going to go into all the books I am currently reading at this exact moment because it's a lot and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get to all of them this week. But I wanted to start the vlog now because I am about to spend 45 minutes to an hour working on editing videos and everything for you all. And then my friend and I are gonna buddy read, hold up, The Troop. And I'm so excited. For both of us, it's a reread. So like we both know what we're getting into. For both of us, it's a favorite book. I'm really excited to reread it. And I'm really hoping that it stands up the second time because I have only read it once, and I feel like in order to call a book a favorite, you really need to read it more than once. Personal opinion, maybe you disagree, but we're going to actually put the audiobook on and do a puzzle together online, so I'm really excited about that. But I do have this copy because I'm going to be annotating it, and I'm going to match it to my annotations of The Empire of the Vampire, where I annotate by coloring in the page on the side. So there aren't going to be tabs like in that book, but it'll make more sense once I start, and I'll kind of show you guys what I'm doing. But I'm thinking I'm going to only do 2 colors. I'm probably going to do black for It Made Me Cry, and then I'm thinking I'm going to try to match this orange as best as possible, or this kind of teal, one of the two, and that's going to be for Anytime I Felt Like Throwing Up, which I know will happen in this book. I'm not going to go into all of the other books that I need to read this week or what's going on at this moment. We will talk about it later today. I'm just too excited to get going into The Troop, but I want to open this package. It goes along with this, so I thought it would make sense. I got this from Pango, which is like a used bookstore. I talk about them decently enough. I really like buying from there, and you can trade in credits and basically get books for free. So, sometimes people wrap things up super cute. Let's see what we got. I say as if I don't know what's in here. It's The Deep by Nick Cutter. They send me little stickers. Like sometimes people will leave me little notes at the very front of the book, but I never get like free stuff like that. Anyways, I have read this. I also rated this 5 stars. I also loved this book. They have a very different feel to them. This is like very glossy and The Troop is very matte, but otherwise I love how the covers go together. And then the spines. That's why I ended up getting them. I thought the spines would look really good, and I want to go through and do my annotating where I annotate the side pages. Anyways, my friend and I who are reading The Troop are starting up like a buddy read where we're going to read 1 horror book a month together. Right now we're doing The Troop because we both read it. We both wanted to reread it. But going forward, we're going to try to pick books that neither of us have read because we're trying to both like find exactly what it is in horror that we love. She wanted to join me on that journey, so we're going to be doing it together, and I'm really excited. No, this is not in place of my sci-fi where I was trying to find what I love in sci-fi. I have not picked my next genre for that challenge, but I definitely should sit down and think about it because I'd love to pick something and start that video, but for a different genre. But anyways, I'm gonna try to talk her into reading The Deep soon because I've read it and loved it, and I actually read it while I was moving into this house, which has been almost a year now. So I think it would be like super great if I could get her to reread it. Well, I would be rereading it. She would be reading it for the first time on like the anniversary of the first time I read The Deep. I'm gonna sit and edit. I will move you where you can sit and watch me edit, and I will then be working on puzzles and reading, and I'll talk to you about books at the end of the day. We're about 4 hours into The Troop, So I am just now starting part 3, which is called Contagion, and it's just as good as the first time. I'm definitely having more of an emotional response this time though, and I think that's simply because not only do I actually, starting out before I've started this book, have an emotional connection to these characters because I've already read it, but also I know what's going to happen to them, and so some of the foreshadowing really got to me. I'll show you where I'm at so far with my tabbing so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. But I decided to go with blue for disgust and gray for sad, and if I do ever actually cry, I'm gonna do black. But so far I haven't cried, but it's been taking a lot out of me to not do that thing. We've done 3 puzzles. We're about to start our 4th, but we're taking a quick break, and I figure I'd come and tell you all what the troop is about in case you don't know, because this book has been out for a little bit and people have talked about it on YouTube. It's gone around, it's had its day. When did this even come out? 2014. Oh, 2016. Odds are you probably already know about the troop if you're planning on reading it. But let me tell you really briefly. It's this story of this parasitic worm that gets loose on this pretty much isolated island. But on this island, at the time of the worm getting loose, and it's all explained, there is like a Boy Scout troop there. And the Boy Scout troop comes across this person who has this disease, and suddenly they're fighting for their lives. They don't know who to trust. They don't know what's going on. Their leader seems to be going a little bit crazy. They're starting to like lose the connection that they had. You know, they had like a pecking order, and now they're like, it's starting to crumble, and it's just done so well. It's so horrifying, you know, disgusting and sad. I don't think any of us are shocked about what I'm going to say, but I finished the troop and I have a headache. Oh my god. I think we did 6 puzzles. Oh my god, did we do 6 puzzles? 3 of which were 600 pieces, 3 of which were 300 pieces. I finished the troop. My annotating, I am obsessed with this. I'm definitely going to do this again. You can clearly see which parts of the book affected me more than others. I will say though that this is not part of the book. This is his next book. Oh, sorry, I got some of that wrong. This is acknowledgements and then a section of one of his other books, which I have read and did not like that one. But this is the book. So you can see like right up until the end, and you can see that there's like this chunk here where I didn't feel anything. Well, I was interested in it, but 5 stars. Loved it. Love how it looks with the book. Can't wait to reread this again in another 2 years. So I'm gonna go make some food because I'm starving and my eyes hurt. Hello, it's Monday. I just finished editing up my TBR video, which will be coming out Friday. And I have been looking ahead at like what videos are coming up, and I realized my wrap up needs to get filmed this coming weekend because it's coming out the Friday after. And so I was looking at my stats for the month and I was like, I haven't done nearly enough physically reading. I try to physically read about 2,000 pages a month, and right now I am at 1,000 pages. And I am currently reading a book that is 400 pages, and I'm close to 25% through, I think it is. So I'm going to be finishing that up, and I'll talk about that as soon as I have like things to say to you all, which should be tomorrow. But I thought it would be fun. I do have 3 graphic novels on my TBR shelf. An absolute wonderful, beautiful, amazing subscriber sent these to me from my Amazon wish list. So I thought, I've been pushing them off for a month when I needed to catch up on stuff. Either I didn't have enough books for that month, or I didn't have enough pages or whatnot, so I thought it would be perfect for me to do that right now. I don't know if I'm going to read all 3, but I am going to sit down right now. Allison, I left the note in the first one, and I'm going to at least read the first one, and that'll be nice because that'll take something off of my owned TBR. It'll get me at least 100 pages. I don't know how long it is, and it'll be pretty easy. I'm probably not going to be here more than an hour reading it. That's the plan, Stan. I actually have read the back multiple times to try to understand what this graphic novel is about, and there's no plot on the back. It's about this futuristic world where gravity stopped working so well and people can basically fly and there's giant insects. There's no plot. There's no plot. So once I read it, I'll tell you what the plot is. Well, I didn't mean to read straight through, but this was fabulous. This was really good. Not only was the artwork really good and really clear and like aided to the story in a way that I think would have been lacking if you hadn't had it in graphic novel format, but I really liked the story and the characters a lot, and I'm really excited to read the next two. It is a trilogy, I believe, so I think it's complete after the third one. Leaning towards giving a 4.5. Definitely not a 5-star, but I think it was better than a 4-star. Maybe I should tell you what the plot was. So the plot for this one was mostly just establishing the world. We actually didn't get any giant insects in this one, but I know they're coming because they hinted at it and then they showed this at the very end. The story is about this young woman named Willa, and she lives in a world with basically low gravity. The world, like one day gravity went off with a switch and her father theorized that happening, and now he lives with constant fear of the outside world while everyone else has pretty much adapted. She finds out that he was in business with this man who has become exceedingly rich because of the gravity turning off, and so she goes to him to try to figure out how to help her father and save him from being stuck inside and being so scared of everything, while her dad says that he has a plan and a way of turning the world back to how it was. And she doesn't know if she totally believes him now or not, but she knows that she needs to get him help. Highly recommend, highly enjoy. So it's about time that I told you about some of the other books that I am currently reading this week. So I am working on 2 actively, and then I have another one that's kind of on the back burner just because I need to finish up things that are actually on my TBR this month before I go back to things I was just reading for fun. So my current audiobook is the book House of Eclipses. I'm about 20% through, and it's fine. I honestly am not really enjoying it all that much, but it's not a horrible book, and I'm curious enough to keep going and finish it up, so I will be doing that. But it is about these 2 kingdoms on this world. This world, the sun and the moon don't rotate around it, and so there's like one half which is called Sol, or the goddess who controls that half is called Sol, and then the other half is Lumen, and there's a god or goddess there, and there are rulers on both sides, and the ruler that we are following, well, she is the daughter of the king of Sol. They don't call him a king, but I can't remember what they call him. It's her and her 2 other sisters, and their father is an abusive dick. And so he gets a letter one day from the night side saying that he wants to marry one of the daughters. So the king like picks 2 of them, one of which being our main character, and takes them to the night court basically. It's not called that, but it's what it feels like. Where I am at, they have just arrived, and he has basically told his 2 daughters that one of them has to marry him in order for like reasons where he's going to basically become immortal and live forever and control everything if they can get him a certain thing, which they can only get if they are queen. And the only reason why they are doing it is he's promised one of the girls like riches beyond belief, and the other one basically he's like, if you don't do it I will kill you. So of course we're following the girl who he's like, if you don't do it I will kill you. Now the issue I am kind of having, the reason why I'm not loving it, is the book is very black and white. Our main character is perfection. Not necessarily like she's good at everything or whatnot, but she is purely good. She doesn't have like any bad qualities to her, and every person who is supposed to be bad, it is so obvious that they are supposed to be bad because they have only bad qualities. So her sister is super like obnoxious and a slut. Like the sister definitely shames her multiple times for like wearing revealing clothing and like flirting with boys, and it's like those aren't necessarily bad qualities, but when you give them to the sister who is a bad guy, and then you as the main character who is supposed to be good, like cover up and show the prince that you have other interests and don't flirt with any boys besides this one, like it just kind of starts to send a message. There are other things too that the sister does that it's like so obvious that she is just supposed to be bad, and that's it. So I'm kind of getting a little bit like annoyed with that, but I'm hoping as we go on that the love interest will interest me at least a little bit. It is YA though, so I'm not expecting any smut or any like real romance to develop. The other book I am reading is Game of Strength and Storm. And this is an arc. It's coming out, I believe it's June 7th of 2022. I'm just kind of losing interest as the story goes on. I'm very close to 40% right now. So I'm going to try to get to 40%, if not 50% by tonight, and kind of make my final decision as to whether or not I am going to finish it. And what it is about is we are following these two, I believe they're like 18 or 19-year-old girls who have come to the Empress during this lottery system in order to ask for a prize. And they thought that if they were going to ask for a prize, that the Empresses would give them like a task they have to do in exchange, and then they would get this like prize, this crazy thing that they never thought they'd be able to get. One of them wants to be the ruler of her land where it is a patriarchy and she would never inherit because she's a woman. And the other one wants to get her father out of prison because he was wrongly accused of doing this horrible crime. So when they get to the Empresses though, the Empresses for the first time ever decide that for one of them to get their wish, they must accomplish everyone else's tasks, and whoever out of the two of them accomplishes the most tasks will get their wish and the other one will not. So they're kind of like going against each other, trying to accomplish the tasks, trying to get the most done. The thing is, like, it's just not that interesting. Like, I can't even necessarily point to what's boring about it, because like they're doing these tasks, but it feels kind of like the tasks are way too easy to accomplish. And like where I'm at 40%, I think 4 of the tasks have already been accomplished, which I guess makes sense, 40% through, and there's like 10 tasks, whatever. But I also just like have no attachment to any of the characters, and we just get a new POV, which is one of the characters' siblings, and I don't care. Oh, you can probably hear my music in the other room. Let's go turn that off. Okay, so I literally just showered and then realized, I like had the realization, like, what if I just stopped the book now? Like, what if I just didn't finish Game of Strength and Strength and Storms? And my body like literally felt relieved with like not having to read another 10% of the book to make a decision. And that's when you know. That's when you know. So I'm going to DNF it at 40%. I actually looked at my arcs. I have 12 arcs out right now, which is a little bit panicking. 13 actually, sorry, 12 after I started the next one. So I decided to start one of my arcs because I looked at them and I realized that I have 4 that are due in June. I looked at how much pages I would have to read of each of them to get them before they are released, and I would have to read 48 pages a day, which is less than my goal for the year. My goal for the year is to read 60 pages a day. So I was like, what I'm gonna do is I am going to read 50 pages a day of these 4 arcs until I get them all done, at least 50 pages a day. And then I will have them all checked off in time for when I needed to have the arcs checked off. I will have them all read, all reviewed. That'll be 4 arcs that I get like knocked off of my reading radar, whatever you want to call it, and that'll get my numbers on NetGalley back into the 80%. If I read one more book, I'll be back into the 80%. I'm at like 79 right now today. And the arc I picked up is called Relic and Ruin, and I'm actually loving it. Like, I'm 28% through. I started it yesterday. I haven't read any of it today because it's Wednesday. I'm busy on Wednesdays. I don't get to read until I like get in bed for the night. It is being published by Wattpad, so I want to say that because I feel like when I say it's really good, I'm not necessarily saying, oh, it's really good for Wattpad. I'm saying it's a really good book, but it definitely has that kind of like tropey vibe that Wattpad has. It is about this world where there are humans, but there are also necromancers, and there are also reapers. And so reapers are people who can, I don't exactly remember what they can do because we're not following a reaper family, we're following a necromancer family. Well, the family has both, but we're following a necromancer, which is someone who can raise people from the dead or animals, and they come back as zombies. And in this world, our family that we are following, they are all very close. It's like all of the aunts and uncles are all very close. So the cousins have grown up together as siblings. There's like 7 cousins, and we're following specifically one named Nyx. And she is a necromancer and a reaper because her father is a reaper, her mom was a necromancer. And so she goes on missions with them to bring to like stop, I believe they're called in-betweeners, and to stop like bad magic basically from happening in the world. And she's also going to school and doing like the high school thing. Yeah. And on one of her first missions that we see, she's been on plenty of missions before. She's very strong, very capable, very powerful. She runs into this boy of course. He doesn't seem quite right. He's also trying to stop this like monster thing that's happening, and when the whole entire thing goes down, she ends up with his locket, and so he's like trying to get it back, and so they keep running back into each other, and she very quickly learns that he is a ghost, and she didn't know ghosts were real, and then so she's like being introduced into this whole entire ghost world, and this like it's not an underworld necessarily, but like this ghost city. I like how the magic works. It's a little unexplained, but it's also follows a strict rule set, so I'm really enjoying how it's done, and I really like our two main characters, which is surprising. Normally I like usually the female character and not so much the male love interest. I think it's fun. I think it's really unique. I think that this necromancer, reaper, and ghost magic, and then the zombies is something that I have not read much of before, and so I'm really liking it. And where I'm at, it's definitely a 4.5. First chapter was actually kind of horrifying, which was great because I like horror and I like fantasy, so I liked kind of the mix of the two, but there were definitely some like horror elements. And then the beginning of every single chapter, it's titled, but it's titled with some type of fear. This one, the chapter is called Apotemnophobia, fear of persons with amputations. And then the chapter isn't usually like talking about necessarily like someone with amputations, but it will connect to that fear somehow. And so it's just really fun, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm so happy that I'm enjoying a book. Speaking of books that I'm not enjoying, the audiobook I decided to pick up was Hide by Kirsten, I want to say White. So this is actually for my June TBR. I was just finished with all the books that I needed to read for my May TBR. So this came in from my library. I've had it on hold. It actually got published yesterday, and I checked it out yesterday from my library, thanks to them for getting it to me so quickly, and I'm not liking it. I think I'm 40% into it, and I think I'm gonna DNF here because I'm just having a really hard time keeping characters straight and understanding what's going on. So we're following this girl, young woman, who her whole entire family was murdered in front of her, and she was able to escape because she hid really well, and she's kind of on the streets not doing super well, and her like case agent or whatever the word is tells her about this competition where you have to go into this abandoned amusement park for a week, and if you can hide and not get caught the entire time you're there, you earn $50,000, I think it is. And so she wants to do it because she wants the money. Now, the problem is that sounds great, and I'm really interested in that. But there are 14 contestants, and then there's also the people running the competition, and you get all of their POVs. I don't know if it's quite all 14, but you get a lot of POVs, and how the audiobook is done is it doesn't really tell you when you're switching between POVs, and some of the POVs you get for like a paragraph, and then it like moves on to someone else, and there are just too many people that I cannot understand what's going on, and I can't keep everyone apart, and I'm just so lost and so confused. And while I'm interested in our main girl's story, I wouldn't rate it above a 2-star, so I don't even think it's worth it for me to try to figure out what's going on in order to stick with it. I will say though, so far I think it's gonna be sapphic. There are just like hints as to a romance, but I don't know for sure if it will lead to that. And I like the romance, and I like our main character. It's just I'm so confused, and I need a little bit more. It reminds me slightly of the Hunger Games when she's like in the Hunger Games, but it's just not as good. It's just not done super well. I'm very lost. And the audiobook is 7 hours long. So for me to get all of those different POVs, and then also this story that I'm supposed to be invested in, it's also an adult horror. So I thought it would be horrifying, and I have not been scared once. And I'm not like, horror doesn't necessarily have to be scary, but I want to feel like creeped out or horrified or like something to like shock me, and I haven't felt that way at all. There was a little like hint of it when you found out who murdered her family. I felt like, oh, okay, but it wasn't big enough for me to keep going. I'm not curious enough to finish. I'm gonna DNF it. We'll call it here. I'm DNFing this book.
So fat and satisfied. These days will end. People. That's what a reckoning sounds like.
Okay, so my friend just told me that they dropped the new Andor trailer today, so I had to watch it because it's one of my favorite. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. I definitely believe that it is done and they need to stop making new things and stop doing stuff in the Star Wars universe, but I also will never complain when they make something for one of my favorite characters of all time, which happens to be Andor. I love it. Yes. Anyways, hi, welcome to Thursday. It is my weekend. And it is a 4-day weekend and I am so excited. I will not be filming all of this weekend for this vlog. I think I'm going to film through tonight and tomorrow and then cut it off and do Saturday, Sunday, Monday for next week's vlog. The 2 books that I am currently working on that I made progress today are both for secret TBRs. So I can't talk about them in my weekly reading vlog. Hanging out here, maybe painting, maybe reading, maybe finally finishing Our Flag Means Death. I think I started it on Sunday, so this will be day 4 or 5 basically, but I normally take a lot longer to finish up TV shows. I'm really bad with TV shows. I haven't seen so many that I want to watch, but with this one I've been really enjoying it, and I meant to watch some last night and I just didn't get the opportunity, so I have 2 episodes left, so I think I'm going to try to finish that tonight or just watch 1 episode tonight and 1 tomorrow. I think it's really fun. I have some small issues with it that are keeping me from being oh my god, this is the greatest TV show ever made. But I'm really enjoying it. I would recommend it to people and I'm excited. I don't know if there'll be another season or not because I'm not at the end yet and I don't know if it's open, but I am a huge fan of that historical era piece, but it's very comical. So I am a huge fan of The Great, which is the show about Catherine the Great in Russia. I haven't seen all of What We Do in the Shadows, but what I watched of it, I really enjoyed. And I think now that I'm finishing up Our Flag Means Death, I want to go back and actually finish What We Do in the Shadows because I think that they're very similar, but also very different, because What We Do in the Shadows, in case you don't know, is about vampires, but it is produced by the same man. So of course they have similar feel, but it's vampires who have been around for hundreds of years, but in modern day, dealing with modern day stuff. And so it also kind of has a very Office vibe. I like funny TV shows. I came in and checked in with you because I thought maybe I would have a bigger reaction to the Andor trailer, which I did not have as big a reaction as I wanted. I'm gonna go do my thing and then I'll try to take you with me when I can. Hello, it's Friday. I haven't talked to you yet today. I'm pretty tired right now. It's been a long day of creating and putting stuff on Etsy, and I've shown you guys a lot of what I've been working on, but I have this series of paintings. There's quite a few. that I am working on right now. I'll show you just this one so that when you turn them, this one's not gonna work. When you turn them, they have like metallic, but straight on they look perfectly normal, right? So I am painting a bunch of these. I'm obsessed with them. I think they're so much fun. And I am selling some on Etsy right now. Flared up an injury from my past about an hour ago. So I have been kind of struggling through it, but it is my right arm, my right shoulder. So there's not much more I can do with pushing through because I'm at the point where like the pain is just making me tired. I need to talk to you all about books. I can't remember what I've said recently. Oh no, I need to talk to you guys about Our Flag Means Death. I finished it last night because after watching episode 9, there was no way I was gonna stop. That was such a good episode. And then episode 10 was so devastating. Like, there's definitely gonna be season 2, but it won't make it on my list of favorite finales I've ever seen, but it'll make it on my top 3 saddest finales I've ever seen. Books. Let's talk about books. So it's been a few days since I've talked about House of Eclipses. I actually filmed a whole bit of me talking about it and talking about how much I wanted to DNF it, and I deleted that from this vlog because I did DNF it. And then since I DNF'd it, I've been thinking about it and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And while it is not a good book, I will not be rating this book above a 2-star. I can't. I'm like, I don't know. I just need to know what's going to happen. So I picked it back up again and I'm 40% through and I think I'm going to keep going today. I don't think I'm going to finish it today though. I'd really like to finish it for this vlog though. So we'll see what I'm able to do. But it's bad. The characters are awful, but I feel like the plot is doing something where it makes me wonder if I'm supposed to hate the characters. The problem is I hate all of the characters. I even hate our main character, and I don't know if she's going to become unreliable or is unreliable and I just don't know about it yet or what. I don't know. The author like did something that it like just stuck in my head and it's not a good book. I haven't made much progress on my arc because last night yesterday I was behind. So I needed to read yesterday's section and I didn't. And that's the only day I've fallen behind so far. But what happened was at like 10 p.m. I decided that it was, for the first time ever, I was going to take my rook piercing out and I was going to clean it really really well. And I've never taken it out before. And let me tell you, taking it out wasn't horrible. It was a little bit difficult to do, but not bad. But putting it back in took me 45 minutes. I had to watch so many videos. I had to try so many different tricks. It's awful. I'm never taking it out again. Like, if I ever feel the need to clean it that well again, I'm going to go to a piercing salon and getting them done. I don't think piercing salon is the right word, but I'm not doing it myself. That was god awful. And literally when I was Googling, trying to figure out how to put it back in, like everyone on Google is like, this is one of the worst piercings to change by yourself. And I was like, God damn it. Why didn't I look at this first before I decided to clean it super well? What I was trying to say is that I was supposed to continue reading Relic and Ruin last night and it was like 11 p.m. and I was like frustrated and tired, and so I just went to bed instead of reading it. So I do need to catch up on yesterday's section, which I think I have like less than 10% still to read for yesterday, and then today's section in order to be on track right now, which is fine because I'm taking a break. We're gonna do it. Maybe I'll just start Skyward now. That kind of sounds nice, actually. I completely forgot to close the vlog out last night, so I have to do it really quickly here. But yeah, I'm about to go to the pool, hang out for about an hour, do some reading, and then I gotta come back and do lots of stuff today. But it looks beautiful out, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take this opportunity when no one else is at the pool and it's not like super duper sunny yet. As you saw, I finished Skyward Volume 2 and 3. I rated Volume 2 a 4.5 and Volume 3 a 4-star. I really enjoyed these graphic novels. I will be rereading them, and I'm really glad that I own them so that I can put them on my shelf and recommend them to people and do whatever. And I have made some progress on Relic and Ruin, but I won't be finishing it this week, so there's nothing really to say right now. I'm just gonna save it for next week's reading vlog when I have some like more concrete thoughts about it. That's it for this week. I hope you all had a good week of reading. I read so much this week. When I look back on all of the different things that I accomplished, it's crazy. It's awesome. I'm so glad that I'm like back into reading. I hope that I can stop DNFing soon. If it allows me to get some stuff done, I'm fine with it. I think it's starting to rain outside. Why? Yeah. Anyways, I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you're having a good week. I don't remember how my outro goes, but until next time, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye.